What's up, guys? Nolan here, and today we're breaking down everything that we currently have on the next map coming to Escape from Tarkov, Lighthouse. Practically the entire environment team was working on Streets of Tarkov as of about 2 months ago, but Nikita has moved 70% of that team to work on the Lighthouse location. They knew Streets wasn't going to make it this year, so they wanted to get a different location out before then, this of course being Lighthouse. So Streets is expected to come next year at this rate, while Lighthouse will be coming before it, and with Lighthouse apparently being in the gray box phase of development 2 months ago, I'd say we still have a solid 3 to 4 months before Lighthouse is ready. I expect Lighthouse to be around November at this rate, given the pacing that they've had for maps, but Unity 19 might change that as it will bring some new tools that might speed things up. We'll see. Past what we see in Hired Ops, which if you guys don't know what that is, we'll get to that in a second, we have had no visual references or Nikki leaks of the Lighthouse location yet, probably because it's barely even out of the gray box phase still, so the only visual idea that we have about the map is references to the woods location, the shoreline location, as well as some screenshots from the Hired Ops game, which again we will get to in a second. In terms of its specific location, Lighthouse can be found to the northwest of shoreline, where theoretically when map-to-map travel is in, you will be able to move along the coast and around the large rocky hill there that the tunnel goes through to actually get to the Lighthouse location from shoreline. There's also a road that may lead down the coast in the southwest corner of Reserve to get you there as well. Now there is apparently at least one exit that will be a train exit like on Reserve, which makes sense because BSG have had an idea of having the train be on a loop when map-to-map travel is in. The idea, which of course is subject to change, is that if you stay on the train with map-to-map travel, it will take you to each map eventually if it has access to any kind of train tracks whatsoever. I'm not sure if that is still the plan, but it sounds like they're still heading that direction, seeing as this train exit may actually be the only exit for that location. Now this could have been a translation error though, so there will at least be an exit that is a train, but it may also be the only exit for that location. In terms of size, it will be between the new woods location and shoreline, which are very similar and very large. Nikita has also mentioned it looking very similar to the general terrain of woods and shoreline as well, which just makes sense. It's a safe bet that the Escape from Tarkov Lighthouse location, or at least a portion of it, will look somewhat similar to the Hired Ops Lighthouse location. For those who don't know, there are some smaller arcade FPS games out there titled Contract Wars and Hired Ops, which were built by a sister company to Battlestate Games. They follow the lore and is the same universe as the story from Escape from Tarkov, so BSG have used similarities in the past for Contract Wars and Hired Ops maps, which given this should be about the same exact location, I don't see why this wouldn't also have some similarities. But what I mean by that is that the general layout and terrain type as the scale of the map is way off. At best, the Hired Ops map would represent maybe a third of the current woods location, which doesn't match at all. So yes, there's probably going to be similarities, but I guarantee this won't be a port of the Hired Ops location to Escape from Tarkov. It just does not fit the scale or the layout. Speaking of the layout, there is said to be a heavily built up USEC base at this location, the lore behind it being that this is where the USEC call home in the region. I won't be surprised if we see quite a few raiders around this location given the significance, and there are 2 bosses planned, one of which is confirmed to be a sniper boss, and he will guard a physical trader on the location. There will be our first in-raid trader on the Lighthouse location. I spoke about this more during the most recent dev update video, which if you missed that, it's linked below. The Lighthouse trader will, according to Nikita, be very difficult to get to and be guarded by this sniper scab boss. I'm not sure exactly if the boss is there to aggro on site or just protect anyone that might want to kill that trader. And if he does aggro on site, then he must be keeping the trader prisoner somehow, because otherwise what would the purpose be? Nikita specifically said it would be a very difficult task to get to this trader. So if you need to kill a bunch of people that are guarding him, then why would he want to do business with you? Personally, that doesn't make too much sense to me, so I think there's something else going on there. Moving on, yes, we know there will be this physical trader on the Lighthouse location, and yes, we know there will be guarded by a scav sniper boss, as well as apparently some other bodyguards. That, along with Nikita just straight up saying it will be very difficult to get to him, I have an idea of what this trader might have in stock to make them worth the effort to get to them. The rumor has been for a while now that the first physical trader in Escape from Tarkov will be on the Lighthouse location, and they will have grenade launchers and rocket launchers like RPGs, along with mines and heavy explosives. Nikita said that we might see the underbarrel grenade launchers in patch 1212, aka the next patch, and he also confirmed that the RPG-7 will be added to give you something to take out the BTR on Streets of Tarkov with. I think that timeline works out great. We get underbarrels in 1212 or maybe even 1213. Lighthouse comes out in 1214 or 15 or 16 or whenever it eventually does come out. out. And then eventually next year at some point, we get the Streets of Tarkov location with patch 13, and the trader at Lighthouse gets some RPGs and high explosives in stock. I would think that this makes sense for such powerful weapons being accessible in the game. At least you'll have the most difficult time getting to them. You will have to physically bring whatever the currency is in raid, go through a boss, likely lots of players that are also trying to get to that trader, whatever other bodyguards are there, and then possibly extract on a single location, if it does end up being just that train, through likely even more players and more AI, just to acquire those heavy explosives or those launchers. And then you need to go and do whatever it was you wanted those weapons for in the first place, which probably isn't easy given the fact that you needed those kinds of weapons to do it. So if you die, you have to go and do it all again. So to be clear, it was a rumor that the trader on Lighthouse would have launchers and high explosives, but this looks very likely given the circumstances. Why would a scav boss, along with whatever bodyguards might be there, be protecting them if they didn't have something important to actually sell or barter or whatever? But I could be wrong. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, or you can join the discussion on our Discord. Speaking of Discord, we now have over 7,000 members on there with a great LFG and a special trust system set up to know who you can trust in harsh games like Escape from Tarkov. The link is in the description if you are interested. But that is going to do it for today, guys. For the latest Tarkov news, check out these playlists here. If you like this video, then you know the drill. Please subscribe. I really appreciate the people who do. Otherwise, I hope you have a nice day. See you guys.